People don't seem to understand when you're obsessed, when the mainstream media, all they talk about is how Israel is this evil country committing a genocide, which is a lie. It's more than a lie. It's a blood libel.
I'm joined by Fleur Hassan-Nahoum, an Israeli Foreign Ministry Special Envoy, former Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, friend of this show. Fleur, it's good to have you back on the show on what is an extremely troubling day in the United Kingdom. We don't have much time. I want to get straight to the kernel of what I want to ask you, which is, we know we have radical Islam in this country. We know there are plenty of people being shipped in via both legal and illegal routes from terrorist organisations. We know that people are being groomed in mosques by imams who say, kill the Jews. What I want to know is what we now do about it. Not that I hold out much hope the UK government will do anything, but how does Israel tackle radical Islam within its own borders? If we were to take some guidance from you today on what we need to do to keep ourselves safe, what would you tell us?
Well, Alex, the first problem in the UK is that they won't call it by its name. Keir Starmer made this heartfelt appeal yesterday, but it didn't mention Islamic fundamentalism. So how can you deal with a problem when you won't even say its name? Because you're scared somebody's going to brand you a racist. And that's the first problem that the UK has, that they can't even say it. Amongst many other problems, you have 42,000 people on the watch list, all Islamic fundamentalists, homegrown Islamic fundamentalism, and a refusal to even talk about it. And when you see what happened yesterday, when you see that after that terrible, terrible incident where people got killed, people got injured, you had protests that same night. What do you think Israel went through? On the 7th of October, we had the worst massacre in Jewish history, Jewish modern history. And on the 8th of October, we had people on the streets of New York and London celebrating. So what happened in the UK yesterday was a mini version of what we went through. This has got nothing to do with Israel, Alex. There's always an excuse for anti-Semitism. The double standards against Israel is anti-Semitism. People don't seem to understand when you're obsessed, when the mainstream media, all they talk about is how Israel is this evil country committing a genocide, which is a lie. It's more than a lie. It's a blood libel. And this is the result of the blood libel. How do we deal with it? We have eyes on everybody suspected here of fundamentalism. We have eyes on everyone. We know who they are. And before they even go out to commit the terror attacks, we've stopped them. And unfortunately, as we saw a couple of weeks ago here in Jerusalem, a few get through, and we had 5 people dead, including children, a couple of weeks ago. None of the mainstream media reported on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering that I think our security services in the United Kingdom, by and large, do an extremely good job. When you look at some of the statements made by the former head of MI5 about the number of major terror attacks that have been foiled on British soil, this is pre-pandemic, you can see that there were 34 in the period of 4 years. We actually haven't had many large-scale terror attacks. Certainly this person yesterday has slipped through the net. So I have good faith that our security services work tirelessly. And also it's very clear we need to sort out our border situation. But I wonder whether we've reached the stage, if this government wants to bring in digital ID cards and say, well, if you're not committing a crime, you shouldn't worry about being monitored, whether we need to be saying the same to our mosques. We want security cameras in, monitoring everything that goes on inside this building. And if you ain't doing anything wrong, no sweat.
Talk TV did that expose that you were speaking about earlier. What did they do about it? Nothing. They did nothing about it. The indoctrination, Alex, is day and night. You know the death threats I get on social media, and who speaks up and says, hang on a minute, there's not a genocide. This is a war that we didn't start, a war we didn't want, a war that came and started with a massacre of Jews. The fact that Hamas in its charter has a destruction of Jews, that is what they're teaching in the mosques in the UK, except that the Prime Minister, and your Home Secretary, who marches along with the pro-Palestinians, pro-Hamas people, she marches. She's in charge of security. It's like the lunatics have taken over the asylum. That's what's going on.
Fleur, I agree with everything you say, and please come and help us, because this government is not going to do anything.